Hey, what's up, guys? It's the Cool Dude here, and welcome to another episode of Localization. And today, I'm going to be doing a Localization on 4Kids Entertainment. 4Kids Entertainment, or just 4Kids, is an American production company known for distributing and dubbing anime. Originally established in 1970 as Leisure Concepts, specializing in acquisition productions and license and children's entertainment, though originally they would just license or produce toys. And then around in the 90s, they would change to, of course, 4Kids and go into, distribution on media like anime and stuff, especially that, and dubbing. The company is well known for the range of licensed televisions, which included Pokémon and Yu-Gi-Oh! And like I said, they're known for dubbing. They would also have their Fox stations as 4Kids TV, originally known as Foxbox, and now with Warner Brothers and, with Warner Brothers and CBS, the CW. Called the CW 4Kids, which would later be known as Toonzai. In 2011, they would file for bankruptcy due to, of course, licensing with Yu-Gi-Oh! Although I think it's because of their stupid dubs, which I'll talk about later on. And then it was resolved in 2012. 4Kids Entertainment assets were sold to Suburban Brands and 4K Acquisition Group, which is a subsidiary of Konami, which is actually the owner of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Franchise. Due to lack of profitability, 4Kids became 4 Licensing Corporation. And then they would file for bankruptcy again in 2016, and they would shut down in February 7th, 2017. Its successor is Konami Cross Media, which again, Konami, owns the rights holder for the Yu-Gi-Oh! Franchise. And like I said, they own the franchise anyway, so yeah. But we now go into some logos, although first I'm going to talk about what they do. They're notorious for their dubs, although without the dubs, anime wouldn't be popular in America. But yeah. 4Kids is notorious for, more like how they handle the dubs, as they're notorious for Americanizing the animes. For example, Pokémon has, of course, a sandwich rolling rather than a rice ball, and there's a scene of it which he calls the rice balls jelly-filled donuts, which they do not look like jelly-filled donuts, they are rice balls. And stuff like that is important, but that's all I'm going to talk about. As I will actually put in, the information on stuff like that, so y'all know what I'm talking about. But yeah, and we now go on to some logos, starting with the first one, and that is... Before we go on to some logos, did you know that 95.1% of y'all aren't subscribed yet? So for those who aren't subscribed yet, please subscribe so I can keep making some videos. We now go on to our regularly scheduled program. It's called the film strip, and it was in use only in 1995. Yeah, it's more like a prototype. The logo does look good for a prototype, but it can be scary in my opinion, and especially when it comes towards, children, as they are known for children's media, which is named 4Kids. But Yeah. And we now go on to the next logo, and that is... It's called the Supernova, and it was used from 1997 to 2000. There is a variant where the logo starts at where the flare appears. On the trailer for Pokémon the first movie, it would say entertainment rather than production, since around that time, they would change to 4Kids Entertainment. The logo is actually kind of popular, as it was seen on Pokémon, which they're best known for. Though it still kind of looks a bit scary to some kids due to, well, stuff like that and the sound effect. But other than that, it is actually a good logo. And now we go on to the next logo, which is, of course, the start of course, you know, the stupid dubs, and that is... It's called the Shadow Realm, and it was in use from 1999 to 2005. There's a copyright notice. There's a shortened version. And there is a split screen variant, since around the time 4Kids would have a split screen, and or Kids WB would, well, have that as well. This is actually a popular logo. Not only that it's seen on, of course, later Pokemon shows, but it's also seen on Yu-Gi-Oh!, which is really popular, especially in the US. Though the logo, you guessed it, can be unnerving to some kids, considering it kind of looks darker. Especially with the background, which looks something out of the Shadow Realm. Which makes sense, considering they are best known for Yu-Gi-Oh! And speaking of which, this is actually the start of course, these stupid dubs. But this one isn't as really infamous as the next logo, though, and that is... It's called the Red Ball, and it was in use from 2005 to 2012. The early variant would say entertainment. There's a copyright notice of this variant. Later that year, it would say 4Kids TV, and the aura would be brighter. There is, you guessed it, a split screen variant, since, again, TV airings of these shows would have them. In 2007, the 4Kids logo would be rearranged, this time horizontally. The aura would be blue, and the ball is from the right side rather than the left side. This logo is actually memorable, especially for those people who grew up with the dubs, especially, you guessed it, Yu-Gi-Oh! But the logo was more infamous, and the reason for that is that it's seen on a lot of poorly dubs, and this is, the thing, as around this time, 4Kids is notorious for Americanizing their dubs, the most infamous being One Piece. I suggest you go watch that show and you'll know what I'm talking about. Not only that, they also dubbed Winx Club, and that one is horrible. Yes, the 4Kids dub of that show is horrible because of something that's 4Kids' own fault, as they poorly dubbed it. And yeah, not even Pokemon is safe from this, with that aforementioned making a rice ball and using an American name food like jelly-filled donuts and turning it into a sandwich. I'm not joking. And I am going to put in the link on my point. Yeah. And then, not only that, they were actually literally sued over the license of Yu-Gi-Oh! Not only that, they lost the license of Pokemon. So, yeah. The dubs are worse. The last that they know that they would ever release is Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal, released in 2011, although it ended up airing on Nickelodeon, especially in US. After that, they no longer exist. They did exist, but they finally shut down in 2017, finally ending 4Kids' legacy for their stupid dubs. And that is about it. I'm not going to be going over the logo for licensing. I'm just going to do the logo on 4Kids. And yeah, that is actually about it. And remember, like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification icon so you'll be notified for my latest videos. And of course, please don't be afraid to request some logos. If I see it, I'll take it. And yeah, see ya and bye.